Okay, so it is a new year, and typically at the beginning of the new year, a lot of drugstore brands launch new products, new collections. Some of what I find to be my favorite products of the year. It seems like they like to kick the year off on a good start. I asked you in a recent video if you like those initial testing videos or if you'd rather see like full reviews once I test everything out. And a lot of you actually said both. So I'll come back soon and do full reviews on these products as well as some other drugstore launches I've been testing out. I did a video a few days ago. At this point, it might have been like a week ago, on new e.l.f. launches that I was trying out. So if you want to check out that video, I'll link it below. I am using a few of those products in today's video because I haven't fully made my mind up about them yet. But I have products from other brands as well, like Covergirl, Milani, NYX. So I'm excited to try these out. So I just applied this lip oil. It's the Ulta Beauty Juice Infused Lip Oil. It's different packaging because Ulta Beauty redid like their in-house brand. I wasn't sure if they added new products, if they reformulated. I haven't gone through everything fully, but one of you told me the lip oil formula, and I think a lot of the formulas are the exact same. They just updated the packaging. So I think I purchased this, I want to say like Black Friday weekend. They were offering like 40% off. This one is in Berry, which is my favorite. Okay, so today I wanted to test this product out again. I can't make my mind up about this product. It's the e.l.f. Power Grip Matte Primer. It is a newer launch. They just came out with this. It's supposed to be a gripping primer, but it's also supposed to smooth your skin and leave you with more of a matte finish. In the video where I originally tested this out, I wore it over the Thirst Burst drops, which are very glowy, and that probably wasn't the smartest move for testing something out for the first time. It's a weird texture. It kind of has like a gluey texture to it, which normally with matte primers, that's not the case. They say to actually press it into the skin like this. I've worn it both ways, and I feel like it doesn't really matter if you press it in or blend it in, as long as you get it on there evenly, because once it dries down, it basically feels the same on the skin. Because there is a grip to it, I do find that my makeup actually stays in place better. I just don't know that there is like a big smoothing aspect, and usually when I am using a mattifying primer, I really count on it to smooth out my skin, kind of blur pores, texture. So for foundation, I have a new launch from Milani. I actually wore this 2 or 3 times off camera, and it looks so good on the skin. It's the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint Stick. I almost skipped over this product because it has the word skin tint in it, and when I did my video on products I'm not buying in 2025, I almost said skin tints, and it's just because typically a skin tint, I don't end up loving it. Like usually it's fine, but I'd rather just go in with concealer or like a lighter coverage foundation. It actually does feel so lightweight on the skin, and it's been a little while since I've tried like an actual stick foundation. I used to love the Hourglass stick foundation, like this was years ago, but that one was a little bit heavier on the skin. I know Fenty came out with one. I did order that, but then I actually ordered the wrong shade, so I never ended up using it regularly. LYS Beauty also came out with a stick foundation recently too, and did I buy that during the Sephora sale? I think I did. I've been using that one and I like it a lot. They're actually very similar. But all of that to say, I feel like it's been a little while. Like, look how fast that blended in. It blends in 2 seconds. It is so incredibly easy to work with, and you can use a sponge, you can use your fingers. I find it to be very customizable. I had it in my mind that stick foundations, while they are typically like very fast, very easy to use, I thought, I don't know. You know how you have like preconceived notions about certain types of makeup products? In the back of my mind, I was always like, oh, foundation sticks are a little bit heavier. Like they tend to look kind of cakey on the skin. And obviously that's like such a generalization because there are so many different formulas out there. But I think that I just kind of avoided them. I'm really glad I picked this up because it is so quick and easy to use. So it's great for more natural makeup days. Like this just blends out in seconds. Okay, so I just looked up close in the mirror. It is not looking very good right here. It's looking cakey, it's looking heavy, and I know it's not the foundation or the skin tint because I have used this 2, maybe 3 other times, and every single time I use it, it looks perfect. In fact, I wrote notes about this because just for like a future review, I literally wrote, feels very moisturizing, doesn't enhance dryness or texture, and it's kind of clinging to some dry areas right around my nose. So This primer, I don't know. I feel like it's one of those products I want to like because it's a little bit different, a little bit unique compared to other, matte primers out there, but I am just not sold on it. So I am going to build this foundation up just a little bit just to show you, but like that is one quick layer. It takes 2 seconds to blend it in. If you do want to layer it up, you can add it and it doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin. It really just melts right in. This is the Catrice True Skin Concealer in the shade Cool Cashmere. Actually, I wanted to use the e.l.f. liquid bronzer and contour. So in my last video I did like featuring a lot of new e.l.f. products, I used these and I mixed them together and I felt like it was actually the perfect combo. It's funny because I mean, I've been going back and forth. I keep telling you guys, oh, liquid bronzers, liquid contours, they're just not for me. But this e.l.f. formula is so good that I feel like it has me second guessing myself. Like, do I actually really like liquid bronzers and liquid contours? And the conclusion that I have come to is that I don't really like them, but I like this formula. This formula is just so easy to use. It blends out in 2 seconds. And when I am going for more of a natural makeup look, like that's what I want. Products that take 2 seconds to apply. Even like the most natural cream bronzers feel heavier than this formula because it is truly like a liquid. I used to say I'm just not like a no makeup type of person. I don't really love natural makeup because if I'm going to wear it, I want to like wear it. That's just not the case anymore because as much as I love to sit down and do a little bit more of a full glam look, you don't always have the time to do that. So sometimes I want to wear makeup because I love wearing makeup. I love applying makeup, but I don't have time to sit there and go all out. So anyway, all of that to say, I guess I've just come to appreciate like fast products that maybe look a little bit more natural on the skin. And there's definitely a time and a place for a little bit more of a lighter coverage, light look. I'm just going to grab the contour shade, which, where is it? This one is Fair, and just use this to kind of contour the nose a little bit. Okay, the base is looking good, despite the fact that the foundation and the primer didn't work well together. I don't know if I really finished my thoughts on the foundation stick. I can't tell you how much I love this. Again, I've only used it like 2, 3, I guess this is maybe the 4th time. It just looks so pretty. Even though I wore it today with a primer that did not work well with it, it still looks amazing. It is so fast to use, and I love that it makes my skin look kind of fresh. It's very light on the skin. It's not heavy. It's a little bit more natural. It doesn't hold up as well as like a true long wearing matte foundation on my, combo leaning oily skin, but it actually holds up a lot better than anything else that's kind of marketed as a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer, something that's very, very light coverage. But I wouldn't really say this has like the lightest coverage. So the name skin tint really kind of threw me off. And if you really buff this into the skin, you use a light amount or a damp sponge, you can get a super natural look, but you can also build it and it doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin. So good. Honestly, Milani has been impressing me a ton over the last few years. They have quickly become, well, I guess they've maybe slowly become one of my top favorite brands of all time. Actually, speaking of Milani, I think this came out maybe a few months ago. I just tried it for the first time the other day. It's the Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush and Glow. This one's in the shade 150 Cafe. So it comes with a squeeze tube type applicator. I always put these products on the back of my hand. I don't think I have anything like this from Charlotte Tilbury any longer. By the way, I'll list all of the brushes I'm using in the description box below because I think I forgot to mention a couple of them. But I do think this is very, if I remember right, reminiscent of the Charlotte Tilbury. I honestly can never remember Charlotte Tilbury's products names. Just like their blush wand, I think that's what it's called, in the shade, I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact shade. I'll put it on the screen. So I got a kit a few years ago that came with like a mini blush and a mini highlighter. And I don't know if I still have it or if I decluttered it, but if I do have it, I'll have to swatch this next to it because it looks so similar. It's so pretty on the skin. Like it's very lightweight. It definitely gives your skin like a little bit of a glow, but it's not overly glowy or overly metallic. So many of these like glowy, here's what it looks like on my hand, by the way, like once it's blended out. But so many of these glowy blush wands are like, they end up looking metallic on the skin. I'm thinking specifically of like the e.l.f. Halo Glow wands. There's another brand, but this one looks so pretty, so natural. And there are other shades, like they have some brighter shades, some more vibrant shades. This one is like a rosy nude. Okay, so I'm going to set my under eyes. This is an older powder, the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder. This is pretty matte. The other powder I'm going to use to kind of lightly set the rest of my face is from e.l.f. It's their new Halo Glow powder. So in my last video where I was testing it out for the first time, I actually used it as an under eye setting powder, and I've come to realize I don't love it for that purpose on my skin. It has an actual glow to it, which is really pretty. I don't know that I've really tried a lot of powders that leave my skin looking glowy without looking like full-on shimmery. I mean, some powders have shimmer in them. I've heard people describe this as shimmery. I don't think it has shimmer. I honestly don't see like one shimmer speck in here at all, but it has like this really beautiful, like sorry, there's something in my eye, soft focus finish with a little bit of like a glow to it. Anyway, let me just include the clip of me wearing it in my last video. That's the powder I have on my skin, and you can see how glowy my skin looks. So anyway, I don't think that is ideal for me as like an actual full-on setting powder, whether it is under the eyes or really my whole face. I like a glowy look, but I think because it is so glowy, it just enhances like large pores, texture, things that I typically like to be almost blurred out on my skin. If you love a full-on glowy look, you might actually like that as a setting powder. It's kind of confusing because if you go on e.l.f.'s website, like in the actual description, I think they say 2 different times they call it an actual setting powder, and then 2 other times they call it a finishing powder. Finishing powders and setting powders are very different typically, or they're used for different purposes. In the end, despite how a brand markets a product, you might still like a finishing powder as an actual setting powder, or you might like to use a setting powder as a finishing powder. But for me personally, and if you have similar preferences to me, I think this is going to be more ideal as a finishing powder, just to blend everything together, or to lightly set the makeup with like a large fluffy powder brush. I personally don't think I'll really be going in with something like this because that's going to really concentrate the product on the skin, and that's when it starts to enhance texture, fine lines. But with a larger fluffy brush, it's just perfect because it's a very light amount of the product. In fact, I'm probably even applying a little bit too much. And it's just going to give the skin like that nice soft glow. So your skin actually looks like skin, which is great if you tend to go in with a lot of mattifying products like me. Or if you have like harsh lines, you can use this to kind of buff everything out and blend everything together. So it is a really pretty formula. Like you can even see that's partially due to the cheek products, but if I set everything with a matte powder, it would erase that. So I think this is actually perfect to lightly set cream products, liquid products, or if you have oily or normal, no, or if you have dry or normal skin and you don't like a lot of powders because they just completely erase that glow, you might like this. Okay, moving on to brows. So I have a new brow gel from Milani. This is the Stay Put Brow Mousse Tinted Brow Color. I have used this product a lot. It's a little bit different than a lot of other brow gels I've tried. So first of all, I do recommend scraping off the excess because a lot of product comes out. I don't think the stopper I feel like it maybe needs to be, I guess, a little bit smaller so it would scrape off more product, because if you go in with too much, you will make a mess. Or I guess I should say I make a mess. This is a very rich brow gel. It adds a lot of color to the brows, and that is actually perfect for someone like me. As you can see, I don't have thick brows, and I feel like this gives the appearance that I do. So I really like what this does for my brows, but I don't think this product is going to be for everyone. It is kind of a moussey product, and for me, it holds my brows into place really, really well. If you have very unruly brows or you need a super strong brow gel, you'll probably need something a little bit more intense than this, but I love the difference this makes for me. Like you can just see the before and after, and that really only took like less than a minute. I'm going to let that dry for a second, and then I'll go in with an actual brow pen to kind of define the brows. I'm not really going to wear a lot of eyeshadow because my poor eyelids are so dry. This winter weather has been rough on my skin. So I'm just going to blend one shadow in the crease. It's from the e.l.f. bite-sized I Love You a Latte palette, which is like my most used palette of all time. And then I'm going to place a shimmer all over the lid, nothing too intense. I'm just going to take a little bit of that and run it under my eye too. just to kind of define the lower lash line. You know what? Over the last few weeks, I've been trying like a fully blank lower lash line, like no eyeshadow, no eyeliner in the waterline, no mascara. I don't like it on me. I know so many people love that look and they do it and it looks amazing on them, but whenever I do it, I just feel like my makeup looks unfinished. For the lid, I'm just going to use the ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadow in the shade Sailor. I think I had this and, oh, this one feels kind of dried out. I just ordered this one from Ulta. Oh, oh, it's kind of different than I remember. I'm not really feeling like the blue shimmer on my eye today. For some reason, I thought that was like a gold. I'm just going to take Sunrise Hike, which is this one, and just go over that a little bit. I I don't know what I was thinking. I thought that was a little bit different. I mean, it's gorgeous. It would probably look amazing with like cooler toned eyeshadows or like paired with Huda Beauty's Icy Nude. But I guess I thought it was a little bit different for some reason. That's it for the eyes. I'm not even really going to apply a lot of that. And then I think I am going to line my eyes with the dark brown from this palette. And then I'm just going to do like the tiniest baby wing, like almost non-existent. I forgot, I have a couple of lip products that I want to test out. I think I'm going to end up applying a glossy lip stain at the end of this video so I can see how it wears throughout the day. So let me put this one on. This is the Milani Keep It Full Glossy Plumping Balm. I picked up the shade Honey. They have 12 different shades. They actually have a lot of gorgeous shades. I could not choose. Sometimes I pick up two shades that are very different, but this is a little bit more of an expensive product. I feel like Milani's prices are going up. It's $15.99. And at this point, pretty much every brand has done like some sort of glossy click up pen. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be worth the extra price, so I thought I would try one. Now they do describe it as like a multitasking product. It's supposed to give you serious shine, balm-like comfort, and then immediate and long-term plumping. So it's not your typical click up, it's the twist up, kind of like the Makeup by Mario, but I want to apply it without any lip liner just to see what the true color looks like. I just saw a TikTok last night of Milani kind of comparing it, not like saying it was a full-on dupe, but comparing it to the Hourglass Phantom glossy lip balms. And I love those, but those are expensive. So I'm curious. Okay, so it is a thin formula, very sheer, definitely thinner than NYX, thinner than e.l.f., not quite as melty as ColourPop's Click Up Glossy Stick. It's really pretty. It definitely has like that balmy texture to it. I don't know that I would compare it to Hourglass. It's like in the end, they're all click up glossy sticks, so they're all very similar. They have similar qualities, but if I'm being nitpicky, which that's my job to be, to give you like the pros and cons, the little differences, this one is very balmy. It's not as like thin and slippery and glossy feeling as some of the other ones, which I kind of like because I wonder if this one will it will nourish the lips a little bit better than like the super thin ones that wear off fast. So I need to fill in the brows, but first I'm going to apply, no, let me do the brows first. This is just the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. I'm just using this to kind of define them a little bit more, but I think that brow gel did such a great job at really doing most of the work, and it almost filled in my brows a little bit better than the NYX Thick It Stick It. Like that is my favorite. I've been loving it for years, but I feel like the Milani one, especially when I'm in a hurry, makes a bigger difference fast. So then I don't have to take as much time to fill them in with a brow pen. I do have a new mascara for today's video. So I've worn this, I think maybe twice. It's the Covergirl Lash Blast Supercloud Mascara. Covergirl does make a lot of really beautiful mascara formulas. Typically with Covergirl, I like the mascaras, but they're never my number one favorite. Like I usually prefer Essence, or I have like my Tower 28 mascara that's my favorite. But this one does look really pretty, especially on more natural makeup days. So I think this mascara does a really great job at lengthening the lashes. I definitely get a nice fluttery, separated look. If you do build it up, it ends up looking more voluminous. I wouldn't say it's the most natural looking mascara. So if you're looking for like a subtle lengthening mascara, you might want to go with like the e.l.f. Lash Extender, but I like this one because sometimes more subtle mascaras don't give me enough volume. And as much as I love like a good lengthened look, I also like a little bit of volume too. So for me, this is a good mascara on, you know, more natural makeup days, but days where I still want like pretty defined lashes. Okay, for the lips, I wanted to try out the new NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum. So I did purchase two shades. I assume that this one is going to work well, that it's going to look very vibrant even once the gloss wears off, but I wanted to try out this shade, which is more of like a mid-toned nude. This is the color where did it go? Hydra Honey. So a lot of brands have created products like this. It starts off looking very glossy, and then once that glossy layer wears off, you're supposed to be left with a stain. Milani did them last year, and I really like Milani's formula. It's not the most long-wearing formula, so I'm curious to know how this NYX formula holds up. They come in 16 different shades, and they do say that this is supposed to be very, very hydrating, and that's what I look for because when I've tried some from other brands, once the glossy layer wears off, I feel like it kind of dries out the lips. And I noticed that a lot of other brands don't always do like nude shades, lighter shades. I mean, it makes sense. Like obviously a berry or a red is really going to stain the lips a lot more intensely than something that's lighter. But that's why I picked up the shade Hydra Honey, because I don't always want to wear such a bright, vibrant shade. Although I do like this color. I'll test that one off camera. But let's try this one today. I'm going to skip lip liner because again, I'm going to wear this makeup all day. So I want to see how it actually lasts. Oh, I like this color. Okay, this is really pretty. I do hope I'm left with a stain because again, I don't have anything like this. So NYX did, not NYX, e.l.f. did glossy lip stains not too long ago, and they do have some colors that are similar to this, but I don't find the stain lasts quite as long as some of the other formulas I've tried. The texture of this product is really nice. I do think a lip liner would have been nice to kind of define the edges a little bit, but because today is like the actual first day I'm testing it out, I don't want to add anything that's going to extend the wear of it. I want to see how it actually wears as I go about my day. Okay, here's how the makeup turned out. This is the type of look I would do if I had like 15 minutes to get ready. You know, not just like 5 minutes, not like a full hour, just like 15 minutes to sit down, get ready, do my makeup. Everything applies super quickly. Obviously, I was sitting down and talking through the products, so it took a little bit longer, but everything feels so light on the skin. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. In person, it doesn't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup, which is what I typically go for when I have like 15 minutes these days. So I tried some really great products. Like I said, I did try some of these products before filming this video, so it's not like a complete first impressions, and I'm really impressed. For me, the must-have is definitely the Milani Skin Tint. I don't really have anything like this in my collection. If you're already like a stick foundation fan or you have a lot of skin tints, this might not be anything, you know, super unique to your collection. But if you're like me and you've been wanting something that's just fast and easy to use that melts into the skin and looks like skin, this really is a gorgeous formula. I'm trying to narrow it down to like my top 3 for today's video. I would say the Milani Stay Put Brow Mousse. I'm just loving it. I love the difference it makes. If you have really thick brows or unruly brows that are hard to lock into place, this probably is not going to be the product for you. But if you have very fine brows, very thin brows, if you want like color and the appearance of thick brows fast, I think you'll like this too. Just remember to kind of scrape off the excess first, because if you go in with too much product, it's kind of hard to remove it. So I guess my third product is also from Milani. Like I said, they're just kind of making a lot of my favorites right now. The Liquid Blush and Glow. I love the way this looks. I like that it's a little bit more natural without being like full on metallic on the skin. And I feel like weirdly, that's been kind of hard to find when it comes to liquid blushes in this type of packaging. Obviously, like e.l.f. does the liquid blushes. Those don't make your skin look metallic. But, you know, as far as like these squeeze tube type products, everyone's kind of trying to dupe Charlotte Tilbury. And I feel like they haven't quite nailed it because they add like a lot of metallic shimmer in there. So I love this one. Very natural, very soft, but if that's what you go for, you might like this. And again, they do have other colors. So anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll come back in a week and share some full reviews on everything now that I've had the chance to test these out a little bit longer, and then I'll fully make my mind up about some of the products that have thrown me off like this one. I think it's going to be a no for me, but there's one more foundation I want to test it with. Anything that takes like this much effort to decide like, is it good? Can I make it work? Is usually a no, but I'll share my full thoughts very, very soon. Anyway, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll link a couple of other videos I've recently filmed on the screen for you, my video testing out a bunch of e.l.f. products and things like that. So I'll see you very soon with a new one. Bye.